Hello everyone, welcome to Styling with CSS for Beginners. I'm Amit Kumar and this is the first section of our course titled Hello CSS. In this section, we are going to deal with following tutorials. What is CSS? Syntax, modules, and browser support. Now before we move on and before we discuss these topics, let me tell you that before moving on to CSS, you should complete your HTML beginner level course. We have completed sufficient number of tutorials in HTML to start CSS. If you haven't gone through that course, I would highly recommend to complete that course first and then proceed. This is our first tutorial of the section, What is CSS? Now CSS or cascading style sheets allows us to create great looking web pages. In the Marking Up with HTML beginner course, we have learned different tags that can be used to create HTML documents or web pages. Now these documents are then read by web browsers. So what is CSS? CSS is actually a technology, a language which is used to provide styles to our HTML pages. And definitely with those styles, our page will look much beautiful, much better. In one of the tutorials of Marking Up with HTML for Beginners, I even shown you how to apply an already created CSS file on our HTML page. And definitely I have shown you plenty of tags in Marking Up with HTML Beginners course which can be used to provide styles to them. Now all these documents that we have created in the previous course were read by web browsers. Now the format or style in which our web pages are shown is the default styling of web browser according to the HTML elements. However, the web would be a boring place if all the websites will look on browser's default format. Using CSS, we can control exactly how HTML elements will look in the browser. Now definitely, we have not applied any format to most of our HTML pages in that Marking Up with HTML for Beginners course. And the format or style in which those web pages were appearing were the default styling of our web browser. Now, if all the websites will look same, definitely internet is going to be a very boring place. But with help of CSS, we can control exactly how HTML elements will look in the browser. Now, as we have mentioned before, CSS is a language for specifying how documents are presented to users. And a document is usually a text file structured using a markup language. Now, this markup language can be HTML, SVG, XML, etc. Now, definitely we have worked only one of them, that is HTML. So we can create an HTML document and that document will be presented in a very stylish format to the user with the help of CSS. Now, presenting a document to a user means converting it into a form usable by our audience. CSS can be used for basic styling of page components, styling whole web page or whole website, and also to provide some animation effects to our controls. Now, presenting a document is actually showing a document in a format which is actually accepted by the audience. So, depending upon the audience, the presentation layer can change and can vary. And CSS is very useful in those situations. Now, with the help of a CSS, we can provide a basic styling to a basic component of a page or to the whole page. In fact, we can provide the same sort of styling to the whole website to maintain the standardness. And even we can provide some animation effects with help of CSS as well. So in this course, we are definitely going to see all these functionalities of the CSS. And that marks the end of this tutorial. Hope to meet you in the next video tutorial. Till then, thank you and happy programming.